Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ravi Shankar Tandavan, and I'm a proud founding member of the Forum of Critical Utility Services and Chairman for Policy and Advocacy. We are delighted to launch the Focus Kerala chapter on Engineers Day. We start, I guess, with the divine blessings of Sri Vishveshwaraya, on whose birth anniversary the Engineers Day is celebrated. For what a great man and mind Sri Vishveshwaraya was. Let me quickly introduce Focus and take you through the event. The Forum of Critical Utility Services, in short Focus, is a confluence of all the critical utility services of the construction industry. This forum is one of its kind in the world that is bringing together all the sectors of the construction industry onto a unified platform. This is for all the utility service verticals of the construction industry to have a coordinated approach to the challenges that must be met head-on. For this, we must at Focus discuss, identify areas for all-round improvement, collaborate and execute projects that will raise the standards of construction, and aid in delivering projects that are not just resilient and sustainable, but also safe for occupation from various challenges of both nature, man-made, that we are witnessing for the last 1.5 years. Focus came into being on the 26th of October 2020, after which it very quickly established chapters in Bengaluru, Mumbai, and Chennai, with leading industry personalities as heads of these chapters. The formation of the Pune and Delhi chapters of Focus are on the anvil. At Focus, we have one of the tallest leaders as our president. Sri V. Suresh, as you all know, is former CMD HUDCO, Chairman Indian Green Building Council, Gaurav Award recipient, and popularly known as the doyen of the construction industry. The founding members of Focus are eminent personalities from various industries who came together to launch this forum on 26th October 2020. We will be celebrating, though subdued, our anniversary in a month from now. I take this opportunity to extend to you all this advance invitation to participate in the anniversary event of Focus. We are honored to have Professor Architect Ajit as the chairman, and engineer Vinod Kumar, a leading HVAC and FMS consultant, auditor and advisor, as vice chairman of the Kerala chapter of Focus. We are thankful to the management and members of Focus from across the country who are participating in this program this evening. How can I not thank our chief guest, Sri Loknath Behera, MD Cochin Metro Rail Limited, and Dr. R. Hari Kumar, Director, Energy Management Center, Government of Kerala. The Forum of Critical Utility Services is deeply honored and in debt to the time Sri Behera and Dr. R. Hari Kumar have offered us with their presence this evening. I have an arduous task of introducing this evening persons of such eminence who actually need no introduction. I nevertheless promise to do my best. As part of our culture, trend, and tradition, we start any event by lighting of the lamp. This indicates the dispelling of darkness through the light of knowledge. So, may we have the virtual lighting of the lamp, please?
Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah. Shatru buddhi vinashaya deepajyotir namostute. Deepajyotir namostute.
May we now have the Focus video for the participants' better understanding of what we are, what we do, what our aims and objectives are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are delighted to present to you the Forum of Critical Utility Services, the acronym of which is FOCUS. Much as the acronym suggests, the role of the Forum of Critical Utility Services is to bring in focus all that concerns the construction industry. This is not just for India, but for a coordinated construction industry world over. For those of you who may not be aware, this initiative is to prepare and present a platform where all the verticals of the critical utility services of the construction industry forge into one formidable group that will strive in building unity, aid in diffusing misconceptions, and present itself as a platform for discussions amongst these bodies of professionals. This initiative was born on the 26th of October 2020, when the world was almost silent from the after effects of the pandemic. We say silent because the cry for help and riddance from the clutches of the pandemic were deafening. There simply was no place that was safe anywhere in the world. None of the formidable structures that man had erected was safe for protection from the pandemic. It was during these times that we decided on creating a platform so as to be able to present improved and concerted methodologies of developing projects that shall not just be sustainable or resilient, but also deliver safe environment and a valuable business opportunity to the promoters, not just for some time, but for long time to come. Times when another generation will inherit the good work that we do today. Our efforts begin with drawing the strength from the fields of architecture, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, safety, fire, security, illumination, vertical transportation, IBMS and IT, solid waste management, and last but not the least, facility management. Bring them together and forge them into one strong wheel of change to deliver structures that stand in harmony with Mother Nature on planet Earth. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our mission. Only when we come together and share our ideas and aspirations will we find the stumbling blocks. It is here then that when we are together and focused towards one goal, we will jointly be able to understand and address our challenges as one formidable force. Not just a force in India, but for a global movement that will find solutions, opportunities, and the means to address productivity, safety, quality, developing skills, training, evolving standards, and ensuring their implementation, thereby becoming centers of excellence and setting benchmarks for generations to pursue and improve. And this is our vision. We have embarked upon reaching out to various verticals of the critical utility services. We will thereafter jointly present our cause to the government and policymakers. We will present our vision to the builders, and we are confident that we will break the shackles of inequality, indifference, ignorance, and mistrust, and build a world that is one with nature. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not here to conjure a forum, but we are here to establish a body that shall have trust, integrity, and honesty for its foundation, and stand on the pillars of knowledge, commitment, enthusiasm, and foresight of its people. Our invitation to you is open. Come and become a part of FOCUS. It is your contribution and support to FOCUS that will make a difference to the new India that is being created. Let's join and make this the Bharat that we wear. Shining, prosperous, bright and a true world leader. Let's now focus. So there, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this would have given you a fair bit of understanding of what focus is all about.
A great pleasure, honor, and privilege to participate in the launch of the Kerala chapter of Focus. And what a great honor to have the gracious presence of Sri Loknath Beheraji, who is the MD of the Metro, Cochin Metro, and ex-former DG Police and former DG of Fire and Rescue Services of Kerala. Had the greatest honor to work with him on these areas, and also participation of Dr. Hari Kumar, who is the director of the Energy Management Center, and with the presence of the chairman-elect, that is architect Ajit, and also to have Vinod Kumar, who is the vice chairman-elect for the chapter of the Kerala chapter. And all my distinguished colleagues who are joined from the Focus from different parts of the country, I want to join with everyone to wish you. And I'm so happy we had the chapter launches taking place in Bangalore, in Chennai, in Mumbai, and very shortly we'll be having the Pune chapter and Delhi chapter also starting. We never had such large registration in any one of the earlier one. It's already crossed 200 in number. We are expecting it could be of the order of 100, but when I found in that we got 200 people registering, it shows the enthusiasm in Kerala for all concerned, be it on the builder side, government side, architects or civil engineers or mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting, communication, safety, as well as the ICT sector, including facility management sector. And we are deeply honored to have your gracious presence and the support for the same. And as already indicated by Ravi in his own inimitable style on what Focus stands about, and the video also really brought the issue. I wouldn't like to repeat any of the points already told. Time is of essence. I'll just concentrate on a very few points. Kerala is growing in a very large way with the type of development agenda covered in respect of not only all the building development. Maybe you may not be aware. So one of the states where the urbanization is also catching up from less than about 27%. It already crossed around 47% in the last census, and very likely that the 2021 census would make it even more than 50% urbanization coming. And therefore, the requirements of construction of all types of buildings, be it on residential or commercial or hospitals or hotels or colleges or schools or retail, whichever be the area that you want to talk, this is an area where phenomenal amount of growth is taking place, as you would see the way in which the metro growth taking place, as well as other development features. And this is an area where we got to use all the resources in an optimal way, effective way, efficient way, economic way. So all the resources, be it on land as a resource, energy as a resource, water as a resource, or various other building materials as a resource, everything is utilized in just the right way. So you get the optimum level of efficiency and productivity coming for the people. And more importantly, sustainable in terms of energy efficiency, water efficiency, waste management efficiency, and lower carbon footprint. At the end of it, to work in unison. As Ravi said rightly, he used the word a good coordinated, integrated way by which all the services that come in the buildings act properly and work on time. Just before the start of the meeting, we had a small brief talk with the chief guest, Behera Saab, and he said the most important thing is how do my wife will look at the particular one when they see a new building or whatever. I said, very important, sir, it is not the way you construct a building. At the end of the day, last, is the lift working? Is Is the water coming? Is the sanitation going properly? Are you getting the electricity there without break there? Are you able to have all these things functioning, giving the light, giving the ventilation, giving the water, giving the sanitation, air conditioning if it's required? Is it working? Lift, is it working? All these services have got to work. At the end of the day, performance of a building will depend upon all the critical utilities. If the critical utilities are not put in place, if the best of the architecture or civil engineering cannot, you can have good walls, roofs, and built up space. But those space, if they have to function, all the services have to work in the right way. And that's exactly why we are focusing on this agenda. And many areas have come in this particular sector. I will touch upon two areas which the chief guest as well as guest of honor would be able to appreciate. And this is an area wherein all the safety aspects are coming in a big way. And since Saab has been the Director General of Fire Service, and great efforts have been done to see the National Building Code component comes into all the building construction. And therefore, the safety aspects in building, from fire safety, structural safety, and public safety and life safety, becomes an important component. So that'll be an area which one of the vertical will be dealing. We want to ensure that all our buildings are safe from those particular points of view. And we don't want, we keep on hearing about large number of buildings having fires, either in a hotel or hospital or other buildings or schools, etc. We don't want that to happen. So one major thrust area, and I'm sure we'll work on it. Urban mobility is an important component where Metro Chief himself is here on what we can do in terms of the transportation, other sector, not only coming to the building, also within the buildings over there on the vertical transportation, horizontal transportation, other related matter. We have Harikumar Saab, who is the director of the Energy Management Center. He's all concerned is to see how you'll be able to save energy. Energy Conservation Building Code is already available at national level. Kerala State Energy Conservation Building Code has already come. They made it mandatory, very, very important. It's part of the building regulation now. Kerala State Energy Conservation Building Code and the Kerala Municipal Building Rules, Kerala Panchayat Building Rules are working in unison. Any building more than 100 kilowatt of the connected load, you require all the compliance with respect to the Kerala State ECBC. That would mean that your lift installation, your air conditioning installation, your lighting installation, your power installation, electrical installation, or your firefighting installation, every installation is going to consume power. How do you do that in the most energy efficient format? Through passive design and active design. And those are the issues which come over there. I'm sure they'll be opening out on that. And our idea is to see that each one of them are facilitated. They are going to be partners in an integrated way. Previously, they were all coming at a later point, but you got to think of it right in the beginning of the design. The gracious presence of my Western group chair, Sandeep Shikre, and architect Gopakumar, and even, of course, Ajit and all, shows how well integrated design has to be done, which has to be done right in the beginning, conceptual level itself, not at a later point of time. Right at the design level, architectural, structural design, and including all the services component has got to, you got to have the place for that in an XYZ three-dimensional format, or within the building or outside the building, above the ground or below the ground. You got to get the right space for all the critical utility services, because when you want an action to take place, you will know where the problem is, what needs to be done. That is exactly what we are working on. And I'm very happy that we have the very good participation from not only the most important group of the builders and developers. The CREDAI has come back in a very large way. They have got the groups available not only in Cochin, but also in Trivandrum, in Trichur, in Palakkad, Kozhikode. And I'm very happy a large number of the leading builders are there. The leading architects who are practicing, the civil engineers and the mechanical, electrical, plumbing and firefighting engineers who are leading people. You will be hearing from most of them. You'll be hearing from Alex. You'll be hearing from Sumanam, of course, from Gop, and also on various initiatives which have been taken in Kerala on waste management, another major concern area. All these are going to be put together. You'll hear from not only what our own people have done after a chief guest and guest of honor speaks over there, you'll also have a flash of what each one of them feel about the importance of this. It has not been receiving the attention. We used to have verticals available for dealing with only air conditioning, or dealing with only fire, or dealing with only plumbing, but putting together and how does it work, and for competing the space within the building vertically and horizontally is an area of a great problem area. I've been in this sector for the last 56 years. I have seen the type of issues involved in this particular area, and therefore you need to have a very integrated, coordinated, comprehensive approach of giving the right place for each of the service professionals in a large way. And the new document that has come over there of the Kerala State Energy Conservation Building Code, as well as the KMBR and KPBR, makes that possible now. Unless you have that, you can't get the building plan submitted with all the information before you get a building permit or occupancy certificate, or later on the continuous review of the particular thing. So I'm very happy it's come at a very appropriate time. The launch of the Kerala chapter, we'll work together, and we have got 21 verticals covering various sectors, and there are which are led by people of outstanding background, technical background, and linking either with the National Building Code or ISHRE document or ECBC document, any relevant document, including the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and all the regulatory documents are all covered there. I'm sure we'll bring for the Kerala's development agenda all the right level of inputs required to see that we do it. Disaster is another major area of concern, be it on floods or landslides or cyclones or tsunami or whatever. How do you deal with disaster resistant housing, bring resilience? Very briefly touched upon by Ravi in his opening remarks, is going to be another major area, and Kerala, as part of the Rebuild Kerala, after all the issues that we have, is also working on it, because not only we have to do it well with a limited resource, when you rebuild that, you got to do it in the right way. So I'm very happy. There's a broad areas coming, and we have a good team identified. Ajit and Vinod has identified a core group available. We very much hope that we'll have 100 membership or 150 membership very shortly from Kerala alone. So we can all get opportunity to share the information and give guidance on which are the best practices available to deal with all the time delay should not be there. Cost overrun should not happen. Safety will be important component, and quality an important component. All this put together, you get the whole built environment covering all the buildings as well as all the infrastructure put together. And I want to offer my very, very best wishes to all the members of the team for a fantastic start of the Kerala chapter. And we'll be continuously mentoring, advising, and also helping based on the experience of other chapters. The fact that we have well staff to talk in terms of what's happening in Tamil Nadu or happening in Bangalore, or Sandeep Shiga talk in terms of the Western zone, what is happening. It will be a great experience to know most of it large but tall buildings coming in the area. I would like to close once again by thanking our chief guest, Loknath Behera Sahab, for his gracious presence, as well as Dr. Hari Kumar as guest of honor for having come over, and also the 4 distinguished speakers from Kerala whom we have identified for speaking. And I welcome Dr. S. Gopakumarji, Mr. Shah Sumanam, including Mr. Lava, and Alex Syriac, who will also be talking very briefly. I'll introduce them as and when that comes over there. With that, I would request Ravi to kindly take forward the program. Thank you.
Thank you, President Suresh, for that quick summing up of what Focus is all set to achieve. Thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of people must be wondering as to why I invited Mr. Suresh to just deliver his address without giving an introduction.
No, not
because
needed.
I felt
please proceed.
It would be a shame if I were to introduce our president for a person holding so many portfolios and positions in various verticals of the construction industry, and who has who has dedicated 57 years of his life for the construction industry. I would be doing a disservice if I were to introduce him. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our president delivering his address. I would now request our regional chair South, Mr. KP Dominic, who is the managing director of a marketing and consultancy firm by the name Blue and Gray. He has over 30 years in fire and safety industry. He is one of our founding members, Regional Director South and Chairman Events. He will now deliver his address. Mr. KP Dominic, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, distinguished guest and all the participants who are here. What a wonderful day today on Engineers Day, the Kerala chapter is being launched, which means Kerala is blessed with engineers. And I could see the architects and engineers around here and my good friends all over here. And you all know about the focus, and I've been one of the founder member of FSA, Fire and Security of India. So what we see in India, IPA, ISHRE, they're all independent association working on a certain given target and vision and mission. But focus is more like a federation, more like a platform where we bring in all these services together, address the various issues that we have, whether it is the best practices, whether the end client is receiving what they promised. So we want to be more like a catalyst and bringing everybody together. And also, we also started learning and development, which is very important vertical in a group, the skill development. So over the period, we would like to bring in professionals. How do you integrate all these services together under one dashboard? And as an event chair, being a Malayali, Bangalore, I will be more happy to do programs in Cochin and in Kerala specifically. We need to educate all our building professionals on integrations. So I will be looking forward for our chapter chair and vice chair to work strongly and with your group that you're going to form, and we can have various webinar and skill development for the engineers, young architects, young engineers. So I will seek the support of entire distinguished guest over here. Please join us as a member and take an active role to build very safe and resilient buildings in Kerala. Thank you very much. Ravi, over to you.
Thank you, Dominic, for putting across your plans for the association. Thank you very much. I'm now honored to introduce Professor Architect B.R. Ajit. Sri Bhaskaran Rajam Architect, Bhaskaram Rajam Ajit launched his firm Ajit Associates way back in 1978 in Cochin. He actually is kind of a rock star from what I saw, from his profile. He spearheaded flood relief work in Chennai in 1975, was adjudged National Best Director at the Cultural Fest in IIT, then known as Mardi Gras, twice. He has executed projects across a very wide spectrum with clients and projects from residential, defense and law enforcement agencies, education, spiritual, political, horticulture, hospital and hospitality, city and town planning, and so on and so forth. He is an august member of several educational institutions, boards, industry and trade bodies, social organizations, etc. He's been a recipient of over 15 national and international awards. He's a crusader for the sustainability and green initiatives in his field of work. Who else could we ask for the lead at the Kerala chapter of Focus? May I now request Professor Architect Ajit to deliver his address and officially take over the reins of the Kerala chapter of Focus as its chairman. Over to you, Professor Architect Ajit.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi, for those kind words of introduction. I am really so happy that you have been able to express to the rest of the people about Kerala more than me. So happy about it, how you introduced Kerala. Thank you very much. Our dear National President, Mr. V. Suresh, probably I had never ever seen more dynamic than Mr. V. Suresh. I always used to think, I had known him for more than 4 decades now. I always used to think that if he had probably got into politics, would have been the Prime Minister of India by now. And Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Loknath Behera, former DGP of Police in Kerala, he just retired less than a month back, and is presently the Managing Director of Kochi Metro. The guest of honor, Dr. Hari Kumar, I think the contribution that Dr. Hari Kumar had given to the energy scene in Kerala is we should all be happy about it, the work he has done on that. Thank you for your presence here, Dr. Hari Kumar. And Vice President, Mr. Ashit Raheja and Dr. Velan, and both of them whom I had known for maybe more than 10 years now. General Secretary Narasimhan, Treasurer Mr. Sadish Iyengar, Regional Chairman, Directors Mr. Sandeep Shirke and Mr. Dominic, who is the Regional Director for South India. And most importantly, the Kerala Chapter Chairman, as Vice Chairman, Engineer Vinod, and other friends who are present here today. I think, like everybody has said already, we have chosen the most apt day to inaugurate the Kerala chapter of Focus. We all know today we are celebrating, India country celebrating our Engineers Day, National Engineers Day. That is 15th of September, because this is the day one of the greatest engineers our country ever saw, Sir Visvesvaraya, was born or presented to this country. His contributions to the engineering field to India is exemplary and cannot be matched in the past or never in the future also. So thanks for deciding to have this inauguration on this important day. Friends, from few minutes from now, our chief guest, Mr. Loknath Behra, will be inaugurating the Kochi chapter of Focus. Thank you, Sri Behra ji, for the kind consent to participate in this important function. You have already come, you have already been present at least 10 minutes before the program, when he had agreed to go to another meeting and come back in time for his address. I had known Behra ji maybe for almost 4 decades, 3.5 decades. And it is very rare to see a person who is more meticulous and a taskmaster of all. And a man who is so sincere and disciplined and dedicated to his work, whatever he may be interested. I'm sure that Kochi Metro will see a new developments after his taking over as the managing director. We also have the address by guest of honor, Dr. Hari Kumar. We all know very well. In fact, I had known him earlier. He's a man who has done a lot of contributions to the area of energy management, and now is the director of EMC, Energy Management Center in Trivandrum. The support, the work that Energy Management Center is giving is again enormous. Friends, I would like to once again congratulate Mr. V. Suresh and his colleagues in different parts of the country for having contemplated an organization which is comprised of all stakeholders in the construction industry, maybe architects, engineers of all sectors, manufacturers, and even developers of the country. This has been a long-lasting need for the industry, which should go a long way in integrating, at the same time promoting each and every branch or the verticals of the building industry. We, the members of the fraternity, are truly contributing to the development of the nation. When someone asked an engineer as to why he is so proud to be an engineer, he replied saying that a lawyer's income increases in proportion to the crime and lawlessness in the society. A doctor's income increases in proportion to the poor health of the citizens of the country, whereas an engineer's wealth increases with the development of the nation. Meaning, every rupee an engineer makes is out of the development of the country. So we are all very proud people, proud of the US architects, engineers, all of us are very proud people, because every pie, every aspect that we say that we are there in the development of it. Now that we are all engineers are there, electrical engineers are there, mechanical engineers are there. We have got people who are into various other type of engineering, pollution control people are there. We have got environment engineers, all are there. Architects are there, planners are there. Now all are standing and sitting in separate islands. This is such a sad thing. Only if we are joined together, imagine how much more development, how much of support we would have given for a greater development of the nation. In fact, I had the experience maybe about 10 years back itself, when I decided to bring in all the other services under one roof, where we have with us in our organization, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, plumbing engineers, structural engineer, everybody is there. And it has made the thing so different because I think our clients will vouch for that. What I'm saying is I've realized that architects alone cannot do a good job. It cannot be done, a good job can be done only if every one of these verticals join together, as rightly said by our national president, Suresh, at the beginning of the project. In fact, we have every week, we have a coordination meeting and of all these things, and we discuss this. So from the concept stage, we start. So I think this is the thing which is a real need. Now, as a society, as a fraternity, as a group of people, we are going together and going to join together hands in hand. It's a great thing which we are able to. From the social point of view, I do not think there will be any other organization than Focus who will be able to give a single point advisory to the government. It's a very important thing because we are also socially, we can be say that we are also socially giving and contribute. We can contribute a lot. So we'll be able to give a single point advisory to the government, to the local bodies, etc. in need of such support on any matters of construction industry. Moreover, Focus will give a large platform for various connected professionals and industries to interact with each other for providing a perfect services to other clients, to their clients. The organization will also pave the way for continuous fellowship among the stakeholders, enabling improved interaction among them. Because I strongly feel that a fellowship is so very important part of a togetherness. So this will give that fellowship, a platform fellowship, when we meet every time, maybe time being it is going to be online, but very soon, let us hope and pray that we'll be all able to meet together on a physical platform where we could meet each other, hug each other, and talk about our professions, our problems, our issues, and interact it. So that I'm very happy to welcome our chief guest. He has just again come in. Thank you, Barasab. You are here with us. Thank you very much. I was just telling about you, talking about you, how meticulous a person that I had known you for 3.5 decades, how meticulous you are there. And very rarely you come across a person who is more sincere, dedicated, but a taskmaster all the same. At this point, I would also once again like to congratulate Mr. V. Suresh for having given national leadership forming Focus. He's a man whom I have known for almost 4 decades from his earlier days in HUDCO, and a man who has studied, he has a studied opinion on anything and everything under the sun. I mean, I think everybody knows that it's not just an opinion. He always makes a very studied opinion. He studies, he goes deep into the subject. And even today, last 2 days, because this was decided only day first today, that inauguration will be held on today, 15th. And in the last 48 hours, I think he might have made at least 20 calls to me. Similarly, he would have made 20 or 30 calls to each of the people. That's the person with Suresh is. Thank you, Suresh. You at the helm. I'm sure that we would really make waves in the real good ways, positive ways in this building industry. And I am very happy to inform that we have been able to bring in some of the best professionals in the state into the already into the membership. And most importantly, I'm so happy that we have people, very good, important people who are really stalwarts in their own areas into a core committee. I'm happy to introduce to you all the staffs. To begin with, and most importantly, it is a vice chairman. He's a very important part of the entire management of our Focus in Kerala. And Mr. May I introduce to you all Mr. Vinod Kumar, Engineer Vinod Kumar. Can you just say hello? Engineer Vinod Kumar, who is a vice chairman. And apart from that, he's a man who toiled hard. I came in only 2 days before into the whole thing. He toiled hard to bring the organization to do the foundation. Congratulations, Mr. Vinod Kumar, for the great work you have been doing. Hearty congratulations for that. And the rest of the members of the committee, I would like to say, alphabetical order. We have Mr. Alex Syriac. You see there, Alex Syriac? Yeah, Alex Syriac is probably the first private HVAC consultant in the state. I had consulted him maybe about 30 years back or even more. His contribution in the state and elsewhere in the country and outside the country has been formidable in improving the conditioned environment of the society. He is also former president of ISHRE Kerala, and I think he was also vice president of National ISHRE. Then we have Mr. Anil Joseph. He is a leading, Anil Joseph, are you there somewhere? I don't know. Okay. Anil Joseph is a leading structural engineer and was immediate past. Yeah, he was, yeah, Anil, He's a leading structural engineer and was immediate past president of the Association of Structural and Geotechnical Engineering.
Ravi, I think our chief guest wanted to speak. I think it's time
Make
running.
it shorter. Make
Yeah.
the name only.
We can do the introduction later, probably.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
I wanted to leave because I have
Oh,
somebody.
yeah. No, no, Bharaj, I'm very
Just
sorry.
tell the names only.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we can do the introduction later.
I'll
After
do the
go.
registration.
No,
Please,
there is
please.
nothing.
Maharaji is a multitasker.
I don't actually stand before you and in comparison with the technical knowledge you people are having. I am actually what he call, I am the customer, so I am the God. That is what I say. You are the people who only provide the services to us and we behave. So that is what is why basking in glory. So I must actually most respectful people who are attending this webinar with an objective of opening focus in Kerala. I always say, as far as buildings, dwelling houses are concerned, Kerala can boast of building the best houses in this country. Notwithstanding all these things, there are definitely difficulties which sometimes we think that we don't have a very great vision. Therefore, we are the only state where there is not a what do you call the sky lift owned by a government, and the fire department doesn't have that. So if there will be a fire on the 18th floor of a building in Cochin, I don't know that you will have to call Guruvayurappan to save people. That is the kind of situation which is right now there. So what you think about critical services, you have listed a number of things, starting from fire protection to surveillance to plumbing to electricity to generator to anything. I do not think that in a particular dwelling house especially, everything is critical. Even a brick becomes critical. So I don't know how you are going to take a decision on this, which is critical and which is not critical. But you follow the international protocol of defining the criticality. When I actually, after the 9/11, when I went to the US to work with the people, the law enforcement agencies there, I found something called NIPC, National Infrastructure Protection Center. So we actually started that after some few years in India. When I got this invite from Mr. Ajit, whom I respect quite a bit and know him for quite some time, so I thought that it is the critical infrastructure in the building industry is crucial. But you have actually enlarged the scope by including the subcomponents, not taking that the house as the totally critical, but the subcomponents as the criticality and the matters of it. That is a very good dissection. And with all your expertise, you can do that. A particular person loves to live in a safe and good house. For that matter, a lot of thinking goes. I sometimes wonder when we actually go to my old college, Ravenshaw College, which is more than 170 years old, or when I went to the Madras Christian College, where my son studied, I was amazed by the architecture. The ceiling is very high, the windows are very big and cool, quite airy. I don't know why we are not making this kind of things these days. Maybe the cost, or maybe that we wanted to prove that we are different. I do not know. So when I am now going to stay in a house in Fort Cochin in Kerala. So I saw a large number of houses with all modern facilities, including jacuzzi and the kind of things. I am staying in going to stay in a house which has nothing, thus frills there. But it is amazingly beautiful. I can say for me, it is more beautiful than any house being built by the modern architects. And how it happened, I do not know the evolution of the particular thing, why people, probably the cost, probably the convenience. Somebody asked me in MSP commandant's particular bungalow, the bathroom size is just bigger than a badminton court. So what was the requirement to do that? Then I thought that that time the British man and his wife used to play badminton in the bathroom. That could have the reason why they have made it. I'm not saying, probably you have become prudent to see that a bathroom size can be 10 into 12 and it is good enough. Or it may be 15 into 15, it is large enough. So it is all changed. But certain things, the changes are probably not there. See, I'm Delhi, I'm staying in a hotel where the fan is made by the Crompton John Company of England, and it is made in 1919, and it is run by electronically. It is a touch open fan. The panel is actually fixed to the bed. You touch it and it runs. I was saying the marriage of the old and the new has actually given you the kind of satisfaction. You are the artist. I always call Ajit Saab, Gopakumar Saab, you are artists. You bring the art and try to actually give that dream fulfilled with all the people. Kindly actually continue with that. Criticality is very crucial as far as services are concerned. At the ultimate, the end of the day, a particular person becomes successful if he or she is happy. If she is not happy, whatever, how much money you raise, how much fame you earn, it doesn't mean anything. So a particular beggar may be much happier than a particular millionaire. It is the state of mind. And you have been given the mind which is actually artistic, innovative, and you are actually very prudent. You have some other qualities other people do not have. Utilize that and give them the best. When each of you talk to each other, when Ajit Saab talks to, say, Gopakumar Saab, or Gopakumar Saab talks to somebody else, so it actually gives the brilliant ideas. A particular thing can be always made better. We cannot reach the ultimate in that. Anything is actually can be done better than what is available today. So kindly keep that, and I am extremely grateful, though I know that I am the misfit here to actually inaugurate such a August forum, but I thought it is very crucial for the state to have this chapter being brought from an international institute to be functional in Kerala. We did a lot of good work. I patted my back, saying that we are the first state to protocolize the fire safety norms. It is still there in the website, and it has made the job of people, regulators, easy. So all these things can be done. Use technology, encourage the younger people who are working with you to actually see this criticality, make actually various innovations, and make the people's life smooth, happy, and easy. Thank you very much.
Thank you there. Thank you very much, Shri Behera ji. That was very interesting, anecdotal, and thank you for your time. But I must tell you that because of a little bit of a mix-up and paucity of time, I did not have the honor of introducing you, though you don't need any introduction. But nevertheless, for the people from around the country, you certainly deserve an introduction. And let me take this opportunity to introduce Shri Loknath Behera ji. Loknath Behera ji, former IPS officer and currently MD, Cochin Metro Rail Limited, has had an illustrious career across various domains of policing and internal security of our country. He rose in the ranks of the Kerala Police Force to head the state's police department as Director General of Police and State Police Chief. During his career span of 36 eventful years, he was with the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, then went on to join the National Investigating Agency, NIA, in 2009, which he established and was also a founding member. Shri Beheraji has led some of the most sensational investigations of this country that not just created a dent in the internal security of our nation, but pierced the very heart of its people. Shri Behera has had immense international exposure and understanding of the challenges of keeping a nation safe at all times. And it is for this reason that he has been recognized and awarded by the President of India with medals for his meritorious service, distinguished service, and also by international bodies such as the SAARC Governing Council for his distinguished public service. For his contribution, integrity, and immense wealth of administrative experience and knowledge, Shri Behera was immediately grabbed to head Cochin Metro Rail Limited in August, post his retirement from the police force in June this year. Thank you, Shri Beheraji, for your patience and for your presence, even amidst your very busy schedule while you are in Delhi. Thank you very much once again, Beheraji. And now we move on to introduce Dr. Hari Kumar, who is our guest of honor. Dr. Hari Kumar is Director of Energy Management Center, EMC, Government of Kerala. He's a graduate in mechanical engineering and postgraduate in energy conservation and holds a PhD in energy management. EMC is the state designated agency in Kerala for implementation of provisions of the Energy Conservation Act 2001, which includes inter alia Energy Conservation Building Code, that is ECBC, performance achieve trade scheme for energy intensive industries, municipal and agricultural DSM standards, and labeling for selected equipment, etc. EMC has recently started conducting all its capacity building programs, certificate courses and awareness campaigns through the online mode, much like everybody else. Dr. Hari Kumar was on deputation from EMC to Agency of Non-Conventional Energy and Rural Technology, ANERT, as its director from September 2016 till December 2018. ANERT is the Kerala State Nodal Agency for promoting renewable energy. He was instrumental in launching the Saura joint program of KSEBL and ANERT, targeting 1,000 megawatt of solar power by 2021. With over 28 years of experience in the fields of energy efficiency and renewable energy, he's by far the best brain on the subject in the country today. Trained at National Productivity Council during 1992, he worked for a national energy consultancy organization in North India. Dr. Hari Kumar had a brief stint in chemical processing industry and then worked for more than 2 years in the first energy services company in Asia, ESCO, at Bangalore, before joining EMC in 1997. So from September 2006 to September 2009, he was on deputation to ANERT as its project director, leading its distinct operations. A certified energy auditor of Bureau of Energy Efficiency, he is the honorary founder general secretary of the Society of Energy Engineers and Managers, the professional body of certified energy managers and auditors in the country, established in 2005. Dr. Hari Kumar has traveled widely within the country for energy efficiency capacity building programs as a faculty member of the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FICCI, and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, on various energy-related missions. He has also traveled abroad to Bangladesh, France, Japan, Malaysia, Maldives, Netherlands, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, and the United States. Initiated several awareness campaigns through online mode. That's in short about Dr. Hari Kumar. Over to you, sir. Warmly welcome you to deliver your address encouraging the Kerala chapter of Focus.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi, for that detailed introduction. Most respected chief guest of the evening, Barasa, respected President Suresh sir, other dignitaries, senior professionals, and friends, a very good evening. In fact, I am not switching off the video because I am in the home and there is some internet bandwidth issue here. Please forgive me. At the outset, let me place on record my sincere gratitude for inviting me to this prestigious launching ceremony of Focus Kerala chapter under the able leadership of Professor Architect Ajit and Suresh sir. Suresh sir, probably the youngest mind in this gathering. Incidentally, he took his graduation before I was born and still going strong. In fact, I got an opportunity to function in an office designed by Professor Architect Ajit while I was the director of ANERG, the Kerala State Agency for Promotion of Renewable Energy. With this launch of the Kerala chapter of Focus, I believe that a huge gap in the construction industry is getting addressed. A common platform for the professionals in almost all spectrum of construction related domain, starting from the architects to the building management system integrator, to help them share their best practices, concerns, the need for amendments in certain standards, codes, etc. And builders, or rather the clients, also get a forum to address their issues related to better building comfort, safety issues, etc. Myself, from the government policy making body, which is also into promotion of green buildings and energy efficiency, I look at the roles and responsibilities, or rather the deliverables from this forum, that is a Focus Kerala chapter, in a way which can be made use of us in the sense for the policy makers as well. I understand that this worldwide association is formed during the period of this pandemic. If we take Kerala, we are seeing a series of natural disasters during the last 3 to 4 years. The floods in 2 spells, the Oki cyclone, the first Nipah outbreak, the second one hovering around, etc., etc. Riverside villas and apartments with backwater view, which were once a most sought after destination, has changed its premium look now, I think. And many of us can imagine, or some of us have really got affected in a 10-story apartment with a power outage, which is the first utility to get cut off during such disaster. And during floods, our DG sets in the base gets flooded, and that also goes off. So no lights, no escalators. And during the last Kerala floods, we have seen that some of the very small rooftop solar power plants installed by ANERG or given by certain private organizations over some of the homes could provide power to charge the mobiles and give illumination to some of the people. Therefore, in the context when we are seriously discussing on strategies for sustainable, disaster resilient Nava Kerala, I think this forum of critical utility services have a great role to play in helping us with your suggestions on how the critical utilities are to be designed, implemented, operated, and maintained, and what all amendments and modifications to be incorporated in our building rules and standard operating practices in the construction industry. In fact, EMC, we have given a proposal to set up a few control and command centers of the government, or a few selected critical hospitals, which are really to make them modified to be a disaster resilient, and which should be able to power its entire operations as a micro or nano grid, islanding itself from the state grid when there is power outage. I take this opportunity to welcome collaboration from Focus on this project to design and setting up a demo model of a disaster resilient control center or command center with 100% of its power from its own generation, either using solar photovoltaic or with a DG set not connected in the basement floor, etc. For an agency working in the energy front, we have a good trust to buildings particularly because of the fact that residential buildings in Kerala consume more than 50% of the grid power. And commercial buildings consume more than 12% of the grid power. So that means 2/3 of the grid power, grid electricity goes to the building sector. So it is very important for us. Though we have started talking about green buildings and sick building syndrome for quite some time, I think still there are many buildings in our state having less amount of oxygen due to wrong practices in ventilation and air conditioning systems. Glad that Mr. Alex Riek is participating in this program. We had a long association a long time back. It shows the scope and need for best practice sharing and capacity building of professionals. It is still that scope and need is there. We welcome collaboration or focus in this area as well. I think the contribution of focus will not be or should not be limited to the technical interventions or contributions, but we welcome and invite your valuable proposals for new business models as well. Friends, in my opinion, government and its affiliated agencies can spend good amount of money and build large and good buildings. But many times, in many places, it fails miserably in maintaining that building or the habitat. I think focus should contribute on how facility management of identified large and important public buildings in the state can be outsourced. That how the process that needs to be explored, I think. How different service providers can be certified or rated based on their quality of delivery. I think focus needs to address this particular issue as well. We have EMC has a 40,000 square feet IGBC LEED gold rated building in Trivandrum, having an air conditioned 250 pax auditorium. For the last 2 years, it is remaining idle. Many such conference facilities are lying idle in public buildings, and I doubt whether they are properly maintained, whether the public servants like us do have the required information, required knowledge on how to maintain, how to do the preventive maintenance of such facilities when they remain idle for a long time. So there is enormous space for focus to play a great role. I take this opportunity to pledge the support and collaboration of EMC in the activities related to us directly or even indirectly also taken up by focus. And we wish you all the best and thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Harikumar. Those words of support, those words of advice, those words of your helping hand, those words of encouragement. Thank you for each of those. What you say means a lot to us. Your support. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking time to be with us here, and thank you once again, sir. Now, since we stopped Professor Architect Ajit midway in presenting his team, I think it is only fair that we go back to him, get him to announce, the people who were involved, and we will then go back to the program.
Thank you.
Make it briefer. Make it briefer.
Yeah, very brief. Yeah. I think I have already introduced Alex Riek and Anil Joseph, and of course our Vice Chairman, Vinod. Now let me introduce Mr. A.R. Bhatt. He has more than 37 years of very laudable experience in the field of water and wastewater management. Then we have Mr. Fayaz. He's a solar technologist and CEO of Movement Solar Company. Mr. M.R. Krishnakumar. He is a leading landscape architect and academician, and he is presently the treasurer of Kerala chapter of ISOLA, that is Indian Society of Landscape Architects. Then we have Mr. Lava. Lava is heading one of the most successful real estate development companies. I think Lava is, I can see him. Lava, can you put up your hand? Good. Okay, thank you. So Lava is heading one of the most successful real estate development companies in the state. He is a former chairman of Kerala chapter of Kadai and also co-chair of IGBC Cochin chapter. Shaz Sumanam. He is probably the first private consultant in MEP in the state. His contribution in this field has been immense. Then we have Ramesh Iyer, Sedoyan of area of renewable energy in Kerala. Then Mr. Srijit, he is probably the youngest member of this our core committee. He is a leading He is a young entrepreneur engaging future technologies, and he is building, is a leading organization which is into, especially into EV charging and similar ones. My dear friends, to close this my address, I would look forward to the support of all national leaders, many of them present here of Focus, and all members and stakeholders from Kerala to make Focus an organization which should be of great support to Kerala's development in all environments. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Architect Ajit. Thank you very much. Our very best wishes to your team there. And before we move on, Mr. Ashish Rakeja, our founding member and vice president, is partner at Eon Consultants and has a postgraduate degree in thermal engineering from IIT Delhi with over 28 years of experience. He's a leading integrated building design consultant with over 3,000 projects and over 10 net zero buildings to his credit. He's part of the IGBC and member of ASHRAE USA. Unfortunately, Sri Ashish Rakeja has been unable to join today. He quickly called me to pass on his greetings to the Focus Kerala chapter and profusely apologized for not being able to be in the midst of such an august gathering. He incidentally is in a very important meeting with the government in New Delhi, and that's the reason why he has had to excuse himself. Now I am delighted to introduce Dr. C. Velan, who is also our founding member and vice president, currently working as city head, Chennai operations at Ascenders India, a Singapore-based organization, and involved in its IT and industrial park establishments. Earlier, he was working at Tata Realty Infrastructure Limited, TRIL, as CEO for TRIL's flagship project, Ramanujan IT City in Chennai, and successfully established as one of the most happening IT parks in India. With his perseverance, he completed the construction, overall leasing, and operationalized the 4.5 million square feet ITACZ. Dr. Velan is a very simple, unassuming, and a soft-spoken person with a wealth of knowledge and a great administrative capability. We'd love to hear Dr. Velan now. May I request Dr. Velan to kindly address the gathering, please? Dr. Velan.
Thank you, Ravi, for your interesting and encouraging introduction. Nobody can be as much as knowledgeable than our president. We all know about it. Thank you very much for inviting me in this particular Kerala chapter launch. First of all, other than the customary things which many of you spoke about, I just want to wish and congratulate Ajit, who has spoken in the beginning and in the recent past also. And I'm associating with him with the IGBC for the last almost 15 years or so. A fantastic professional, as we all know, as a professor and architect from Kochi. I always call him, doyen of building industry or academic industry. I mean, you can call anything, he is there. Like, so fantastic, Ajit. This is one of the another responsibilities you have taken up for Kerala chapter. I'm sure you are going to make a difference. So as President was mentioning, yes, good, the Chennai chapter, which was recently launched about a few months back. But I can very openly say that Dr. Kali Rajan and his team in Chennai is doing a wonderful job. But already, Ajit is going to be a competition for you. I'm telling you, 102 registrations within 1.5 months. This is that achievement of a Chennai chapter, Dr. Kali Rajan. I don't know if he's there in the line or not, but they made the difference actually by introducing such kind of membership and also conducting seminars. See, I can put it, as Ravi and many others spoke, as the president spoke. One of the areas I want to just mention for a minute and stop over there, which is that knowledge sharing, which is in the form of seminars, webinars, and sharing of so many technological areas. We have completed so many seminars so far, including the latest demanding area of a development data center, development of data center and its technologies, the construction related, BIM And you can call any kind of it, fire safety, many seminars, the forum, the focus has conducted so far. It was very well received by the professionals in the industry. And I personally felt that this is going to make a difference for the engineers, as well as various builders. I'm a developer back. Ravi was mentioning. I feel there is a lot to learn and carry forward with us from the experts in the system, in the focus system, and I'm personally benefiting it. In fact, Ravi, I have invited him many a times to clarify things for me, even to the project sites and all. I took liberty. That is a advantage of this, focus. So thank you very much. Without taking much of a time, hearty congratulations and best wishes to Ajit and his team for the Kerala chapter successful launch today, as well as carrying forward the responsibilities. Thank you very much, President, and all the office bearers, founding members of Focus, besides all the attendees of this session. Thank you very much once again. Thank you. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, Dr. Velan. Thank you very much. Some very pertinent points there. You have given a lot of stress on education and conducting of training programs and seminars. Our event chair has done a fantastic job there with the knowledge series, conducting over 8 different programs for sharing of knowledge. Yes, Dr. Velan, we agree that is important. And when I was seeing Professor Architect Ajit's profile, he seems to be an educationalist himself, and I'm sure there will be a lot of trust in that aspect of the activity at Focus. And Dr. Velan was searching for a word to describe Professor Architect Ajit. I'll just repeat that. I called him the rock star for the kind of traits that he's had and that he's demonstrated. I'm sure the Kochi chapter will do some fantastic work under his leadership. Not wasting any more time, let me quickly welcome our General Secretary, Mr. A.L. Narasimhan, who is Vice President, Strategic
Ravi,
Business.
I think we'll have to have the 4 Kerala speakers to speak earlier. Just to come before Velan. They're waiting.
That's fine, sir. That's fine. So I hand over the proceedings to our President, Mr. Suresh. You can take it on from here, sir, and then I will take it.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Dr. Velan, for the address there. As indicated, this is a Kerala chapter launch. We have heard something from our chief guest of honor, some of our own people from Focus team over there. I would like to now see how best we can understand how our own industry people are feeling in Kerala. So we identified many people could have talked over. I'm seeing from the chat box the type of inputs that's come on that. But I think what we have decided, time being limited, 4 of the outstanding people in the industry who have recognized themselves with their outstanding work, we are asking them to give their view. Each one will give for about 2 minutes time their point of view. I'll very briefly introduce them in less than about 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Then they'll take 2 minutes. Then I'll go to the next person. The first one whom I want to invite is architect S. Gopakumar, who is himself a doyen with over 51 years of service after his graduation in architecture with a gold medal, Baba Rao Matre gold medal, received from IAA in 2020, and dealing with leading professional service with the practice with architecture, interior design, landscaping, product design, urban planning, and engineering. And what I like is a total example, and I know personally his work for the last 4 decades, total design consultancy is what his forte is, our S. Gopakumarji. And he is talking in terms of not only the architecture engineering, as well as all the services related issues also. Worked with the famous architect Padma Shri Charles Correa for over 5 years, Kovalam projects of Ashoka Beach Resort, started his own office in a large way, and working with a large number of very interesting building projects which are there in different parts of the country. And more importantly, the coordination, integration with all the services is an important component. And with all his experience over there, over the last 5 decades, he has taken a leap towards a better city for Cochin, and he's the one who started the work called the Better Cochin Response Group to work along with the various development group and local bodies to find out the various possibilities of developing the city, involving the press, public, and the professionals in a large way. And the new book on Mind on Fire, we are eagerly looking forward on what he is trying to say. I would like to hear from Gopakumarji how he feels about Focus as a group on that. Gopakumar Saab, can I request you to kindly chip in?
Okay. Thank you, Suresh. It's great
Can
to
you come on the screen? Yeah, wonderful,
yeah,
sir. Nice
great to see
sir.
you actually,
Yeah.
at least in the screen.
Yeah.
Because Suresh is a go-getter. I think he's a bulldozer fixed into a jet engine. That's kind of
Thank you.
he is a go-getter and gets things very fast. That's what I'm saying. My profession, I think, is I've covered more than 45 years of architecture as a firm. Architecture has gone through a lot of changes. The building industry totally has gone a lot of changes. Originally, the building industry was controlled by the carpenters in Kerala. You know, they were doing the masonries. You know, they decided that. So later on, engineers came in. So architects were not there at all. So engineers were basically building, and they are mostly concerning structural design. But now that the profession of architecture has come in, so it's a combination of engineering, services, utility, all put together. So it's a different field by itself. And we are very happy that a lot of educational institutions have come up teaching architecture. So most of the architects, young architects, are coming into the field. They are also very much aware of all the changes which is happening. So one of the things which we feel bad about is the government buildings which is coming up. Unfortunately, there are architects working on it. Unfortunately, the buildings don't have that, that finer aspects of utility and services all put together. I'm not criticizing anybody. What has happened is that, the services are neglected to a certain extent. They are basically considering structural design. So the utility is also forgotten. So that is one thing which is I'm very bad about. We feel bad about. The environment is another thing which is have become very, very, very important now. As you know that we are sitting in Kochi, and it's said that Kochi and Bombay will go under after in about 20-30 years because the seawater rising, and we cannot just do anything. I think yesterday I saw it in TV that Greenland has rain for the first time. Greenland never had rain; they only had ice. So they had rain. So it's a warning for all of us, and we just cannot do anything about it, except that we can reduce the intensity and reduce the time. It's a world over phenomenon. So this has come as a major thing in the field of designing and building and things like we like to move the cities from the seaside to the higher areas, and the drainage system has to change. We have to do a lot of pumping, and surface water is going to be a problem. Rain is going to be a problem. So everything is in a different schedule. So this is something which has come up as a recent thing. We, as a group, as Suresh said, as Total Designers, we concentrate. We put all the services into drawings, and we are quite good at it. We engage consultants, of course. We got a lot of Alex Riek and Sumanam, and all those people are our consultants, and they do a very good job. And the drawings which we prepare has all the integrated drawings which we prepare as our world standards. Since we work with some international firms and planners, we had to keep up the drawings to that scale so that Indians shouldn't look bad. So we put the drawings in that scale. Recently, when we submitted a totally integrated drawing to a government department, they were really perplexed to see the intensity of detailing, and they said we want separate drawings for that. They just couldn't understand what's happening, because we wanted to put all, as when the integrated drawings will help you on the total planning of the structure, the beams, the columns, and all that thing, which is something which people have to learn. So I'm very happy that Focus has come out, because it's never, though we are using consultants or various fields, now the Focus has come as a team in which we can go back to that's the thing, we can go back to focus in case we have a problem. So that is the best part. So
Right.
I'm very thankful to Suresh for taking that initiative. And since Ajit is saying, I'll tell you something about education also. So something which you can integrate the services into the architectural studies, which we are missing a little bit now, though the new colleges are constraints. We have to integrate that part of services also into the education system so that the architects are more aware when they come out of the college. These are some of the new things I have to say, and I will definitely cooperate with the focus, whether I'm a member, whether I'm an official member or not. When Suresh called me, and I'm sure I said I'll put all cooperation. Ajit is my close friend. There's no issues. Thank you very much, and thank you for the initiative.
Thank you, Gop Kumar, for the wonderful insights you gave and what you can work together. Thanks, a great source of encouragement. If you had somebody with 50 years plus already to start Gop, then let me take on to Alex Syriac. 45 years of professional experience in the sector, both in the public and the government sector, in a large way for design, engineering, construction, operation, maintenance of industrial and building projects, a mechanical engineer, as well as a marine engineer. That'll be the best way to put. And practicing with independent air conditioning, refrigeration consultancy of major projects in India and overseas, and also includes major projects like airports, space center, hospitals, hotels, specialty hospitals, and not only work in India, but Qatar, Oman, Vietnam, etc. And has also had a very long good stint in Blue Star, Binny, and Spencer Chennai, and all the design of refrigeration and all that. What else can we expect from such a great MEP specialist than to be present here today? Could I request Alex Syriac to please join and give his view on how he looks upon the formation of the Kerala chapter of Focus. Alex, please take over.
Okay, thanks. One minute.
Come, Echo.
Yeah,
Go ahead, sir.
Sir, you have a two connection in with you. The two connection is clashing. One connection can be disconnected.
now it's okay.
Now it's okay, sir.
Perfect.
Please go ahead, Alex.
Okay, thank you. Now, first of all, let me thank you so much, for inviting me for this focus inaugural function. And I promise that I will be one of the key member, supporting you from backside or at this stage. And maybe I would take this opportunity to say that I will be giving more focus on our Kerala chapter, because that's what I expect, we should be concentrating on. Because when I was the president of Kerala ISRA chapter, then I was giving maximum focus on Kerala development. Now that was only for air conditioning. And I'm always an air conditioning engineer. So now this forum is much more elaborated, this is a full package, the whole package. So that package, from all of us should be the best of the lot, who should be leading the show. And, I would say that we should be a sort of a stamping, for a project. Like, so we say, it is approved by Focus. That means, the project is in full. Okay, that should be the approach, we should be having. And I from my experience, that, there should not be any politics or anything. We should be always, all our verticals should be on the best. And we should be the leaders, showing other states in India that how Focus should do. So I hope, Ajit and Vinod and all the team will be doing the things required for that. And definitely, I wish all the best, and I'll be there as a support, whatever way it is required. And definitely, that is it, Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Alex. You bought the right word, vertical. A word was rightly used. We have 21 verticals within the focus group for all the sectors of specialization services. And with best possible people, I'm sure we'll identify a similar type, if not 21 for the whole country, for the national focus one. At least around 10, 15 one, I'm sure Ajit will do that. Thank you so much. So
Okay.
we are going from 51 years, 45 years, we are going to 40 years, Shah Sumanam in service. Be an electrical engineer from the University of Kerala, and later on worked for over in this particular area in Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, USA, and UAE, and primarily designing EHV substation distribution system, MEP designs for IT building, hospital, hospitality building, heavy industries, and infrastructure projects. And he has one of the largest air conditioning one for this one is already working on just now. He's also very active on the fire safety side because of the fire. He's also a very active member of the Fire and Security Association of India. And what I like is he has got a very strong team of engineering consulting, MEP company there with operations in Trivandrum, Cochin, Chennai, Bangalore. That's substantial, I would say. And with over 55 members of multidisciplinary professionals working in his team over there. And whom else can we ask for to chip in and view how do you look at the launch of the Kerala chapter of Focus? So Shah Sumanam sir, looking forward
Sir,
to hear
Shah
from you.
Sumanam is not there, sir. He's not there.
Okay.
Shah Sumanam not there.
Not there? Okay, then we'll miss him. Then that will take me to my last of the Kerala speakers, unless somebody else want to chip in there. He's our own youngest group over there, the mid-30s, 35 years of service from BTech Mechanical, K. Lava, who is the MD of the SFS groups and homes, solid experience in Kerala. And he has worked for his earlier one of Blue Forts Group in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and later on part of the projects here, not only individual villas, gated communities, low-rise and high-rise towers, very closely working on sustainable development is a key on that, energy saving, water saving, all that Focus stands for. He starts putting in his project with his Focus team in a very large way. He was the chairman of the Builders Association of India, 2 terms. He was also the Rotary Club president. He was a part of the Kerala Builders Forum. Later on, it became the Kradai one. He's also the chairman of the Cochin chapter of the IGBC and very active on the CII, KMA, and Institution of Engineers. So can I request Lava to kindly indicate his view? How does he look at the opening of the Kerala chapter under Focus? Lava.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
You represent the building industry of a very large, and thank you very much for the large participant in the Kradai from his team from Trivandrum, Ernakulam, Thrissur, Palakkad, and Kozhikode. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. You know, when we talk about different verticals, it's like having the 5 fingers in your hand. Any one finger doesn't work, the whole system doesn't work. So
Correct.
that is how important, all the 20, I was trying to find, I don't have 21 fingers to point like that. So 5 represents 25, 5 fingers represent the 25 verticals. So there is, you can't say one is more important than the other. Each has got its own importance. About 40 years back, when my father's brother was, say, 70 years old, he used to tell, can you tell me which is the greatest invention in the world? So I was probably thinking it's an aircraft, it is that or this. He said, bloody hell, the most important invention in the world is sanitary. How will you build Empire State Building? You won't last 10 minutes on top if the sanitary line is not there. So even the Empire State Building to be what it is, sanitation is the most important. You can walk down, but you can't, do your basic needs sitting in the 100th floor. So I'm sure, it's a great initiative to have this focus. We are always focused. So this is not something really new to me, because before we decide on any project, we have all these vertical, all the people in the same table, sit around and each one, put whether the space required for him, the kind of every aspect is, all of equally important. So I think so, like Alex said, a common stamp cleared by Focus means it is there. So wish you all the best. And I think so, this is a great get together. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad you're joining also the core group of work along with Alex, with Ajit. I'm very happy. I'm very happy you mentioned what is more important, and your father rightly said that. Our great ex-president Kalam Saab, a very great person, the missile man over there. He was invited to be the chief guest of the 150th year of CPWD, called the Sesquicentennial year. That means 150 years. So everybody thought he'll talk, you're doing a great job, etc. You know what he said is something similar to what your father has said over there. He says, you're all excellent structural engineers, civil engineers, tallest building, longest bridge, longest span, etc., etc. But the biggest area we are all failing is blockage, soakage, leakage, warpage. And he said, this is an area where least amount of attention is being given by all people over there. You look into any other particular building, the problem in terms of also electrical, other related one. And therefore, you got the jugular rightly, and that's exactly what Focus is supposed to do to sort out those particular things, where all those particular things not being looked forward. And here's a classic case where Gope says he has given integrated designs for all together. They said give it separately. The problem was that he give it separately. It was not having the clash issues over there. So many things will come on that. I'm very happy you made a mention of that. Thank you very much for all three to come. I'm very sorry that Shah Sumanam must have waited for some time. He has gone, but I'm sure he's going to contribute as part of the team also. So three of them are also part of the team in a very large way. Thank you very much. So Ravi, now kindly take over for the next session of the program. Ravi, please go ahead.
Thank you.
My task is over.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all those eminent personalities who spoke so well and who pledged their support to Focus. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now going back to the introduction, I'm delighted to introduce our General Secretary, Mr. A.L. Narasimhan. He is Vice President, Strategic Business Alliances from Hikvision India Private Limited. In his current role, he is developing the strategic business alliances for the company with the government, with governments, organizations, and industry bodies. He's been in various industries and has worked in private as well as with the government closely. And he has a career span of 37 years. He's a simple, hardworking, and an absolute asset to the forum. He has been, he has had a personal emergency, but nevertheless, he is here with us. And I request our General Secretary, Mr. A.L. Narasimhan, who is also our founding member, to deliver his address.
Sir, you're on mute. Please
Yes,
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi Shankar. My hearty congratulations to each and every member of Focus on the launch of our Kerala chapter today. Under the great leadership and guidance of our President, Mr. V. Suresh, Focus has been going from strength to strength. With two more launches, slated to be happening in the near future, and to follow across the country, Focus is going to be a formidable organization. On the administration and secretarial front, let me tell you that in Focus, we follow all the rules of the bylaws laid down as per the Society Registration Act. We are a registered body, and all the meetings of the various councils are held regularly. The minutes of the meetings are recorded, followed along with the documentation which is to be maintained as per the rule. Accounts are under the watchful eyes of our Treasurer, Mr. Satish Iyengar, a renowned MBA consultant himself. The accounts are maintained by qualified chartered accountants. Today we stand at a point where membership and corporate support is very important for the growth of our organization. I seek the support of all of you for the registration of individual and corporate memberships, so that the activities of Focus can continue and we can extend the endeavor for what we have been working for. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again, and looking forward to meeting you in person as and when I visit Kerala. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Narasimhan. Thank you for presenting to the team the work that Focus has been doing. Thank you very much. Now I am delighted to introduce architect Sandeep Shikre, who is a member of the management committee and regional chairman West Focus. Mr. Sandeep Shikre is the president and CEO of SSA Architects. He is a USGBC LEED accredited professional. He's had a deep commitment towards sustainable development All of us have been talking about that. So he's had a commitment towards sustainable development and is the founding member of IGBC and also chairman of IGBC, Mumbai chapter. He is a patron of CTBUH, the Council of Tall Building in Urban Habitat, whose head office is in Chicago. He's also on the advisory committee of several other forums. He spearheads SSA Architects with a team of 250 young, dedicated, committed professionals. The integration of architecture, interior design, and construction management consultancy services all under one roof. That is what makes SSA stand tall and apart, making them very unique. May I request Mr. Sandeep Shikre to say a few words, please.
Good evening, all the viewers and the esteemed panelists. It really gives me a lot of pleasure. I'm extremely delighted to congratulate my senior stalwart from IGBC, Mr. B.R. Ajit, who's also a great academician and a wonderful architect, for honoring us and being a chairperson for the Kerala chapter. Also, my congratulations to Mr. Vinod Kumar for being a co-chair. As they say, Kerala is a God's own country, and it is also a hometown of our president. So I can see a joy on his face when this particular launch has a special place in his heart. And I have several wonderful, eminent people from my fraternity who are from Kerala. The architecture from Kerala is absolutely brilliant. So I'm very delighted. Today's keynote speech by the chief guest was very nice. Also by the guest of honor, both of them, they spoke so well. And the entire program was quite enriched with a nice, knowledge-worthy thoughts from everyone. As we say, focus is a confluence of architecture and engineering and various disciplines coming together. As Dominic said, there is a lot that is happening on an individual forum, but this is probably the first time the forum has come, the entire fraternity together on one particular platform. There is a lot that needs to be done. And I'm glad that we have got 4th chapter in place. 15th October is a date that we have decided for Pune chapter to be launched. And before the 1 year completes, we'll have 5 chapters launched. We already have all the disciplines in place with its chair and co-chair. So we are all set now for coming into an action mode from the next year onwards. So once again, congratulations and best wishes to all the members. It is, and I can see the buzz, all the senior stalwarts who are here, they spoke so well. The chapter is very, very well poised. And I'm sure you'll add a lot of value, a lot of active participation. As explained by our General Secretary, the focus is a very well organized, a very well thoughtful forum, guided by a proper bylaws. And we have a long-term vision. And we really want to set our own guidelines, our own manual down the line, and also fill in the gap into a several discipline codes and the guidelines. That's what it is there. Like Mr. Ajit also said, that it should go to the advocacy level to the several government and the codal fronts. So that is definitely there on agenda. I congratulate and wish all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep Shikreji. Thank you very much. And the next, I would like to invite Mr. Satish Iyengar, who is the founding member and a treasurer of Focus. He completed his engineering in M&E in 1977-78 and post-graduation in business management from Mumbai. He had a stint with several leading companies in Mumbai in key and strategic roles where when the entrepreneur bug bit him and he decided to start on his own. He started his own company known as Service Consultants in 1988, specializing in MEP, IBMS, and sustainability consultancy, and is till date heading the firm as the proprietor. He joined ISHRE as one of the founding members of the Bangalore chapter in 88-89 and has been actively involved in the chapter activities like ACREX, COMFEX, ACREDEX, Learning Center, etc. I wish to invite Sri Iyengar to deliver his address.
Thank you, Ravi. It's very nice to see the Kerala chapter being launched. First of all, my best wishes to Architect and Professor Ajit and Vinod Kumarji, and under the dynamic leadership of Suresh who is also in
Yeah,
Kerala.
I'm just another 5 minutes.
First and foremost is I invited Alex last week, who is my very old friend for last 4 decades, and he accepted the invite and become a member and play an active role in the Kerala chapter. As well as I invited my friend Vijay Chandra Nair, who unfortunately is today traveling, but he's also a very active member in the Kerala chapter. And these people, along with my other friends, will definitely ensure that Kerala chapter remains vibrant. And Ajit sir leading the team will see that Kerala takes new heights and sets new standards for the entire country. We already have the 4th chapter, and Sandeep sir announced the Pune chapter launch on 15th October. And Ashish sir is working on the Delhi chapter launch very shortly. So we should have at least 7 chapters coming in by the year end. And very important, as any society, is the fiscal discipline, which has been maintained very well by our Secretary Narsimhan and the admin. All our accounts are totally
Gone. Voice. The voice problem.
He's on mute, I think.
I think by mistake he
Yeah.
muted
Mute.
himself.
Yeah, he's speaking well.
Okay, we'll go ahead, Ravi, and we'll take time.
Okay.
Yeah, he has given
Yeah.
his views. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Before I invite Engineer
Very-
KB.
Yeah, he's
You
back.
maintain-
He's back.
Yeah, we
Yes, sir.
maintain the fiscal
No.
discipline with our Secretary Narsimhan and the auditor, that all the accounts are in tally, all the taxes are being paid up to date, GST and all.
I think he's in very poor connections. His data is very bad.
I think for connectivity, probably.
Yeah. He's
Anyway,
very-
thank you, Mr. Satish Iyengar, for presenting the
And I wish the chapter well. I am there always to support the chapter because I've
Great.
done a lot of work in Kerala.
This is how the payment also comes. It comes, goes, and comes and goes. So
Yes.
he's demonstrating the handling of the finance. So he's extremely careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely,
So, Ravi,
lovely. Thank you very much, Satish Iyengar ji. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
As we come to the end of the program, I would request Engineer KB Vinod Kumar to deliver his vote of thanks. Before that, let me just say 2 words about him. Mr. Vinod Kumar, he's a senior practicing HPAC and MEP consultant, auditor and advisor for hospital facility management and safety. Mr. Vinod Kumar, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi. Good evening to everyone. So the coming together of the construction industry in Kerala has been fantastic. That this day of the launch has been very successful. So let me now perform my duty of saying vote of thanks. It's such an honor for me to say this vote of thanks. First of all, we sincerely thank our chief guest, Sri Loknath Behra. Thank you, sir, for taking your time to be here today for this launch program. Our sincere thanks also goes to our guest of honor, Dr. R. Harikumar, for the support he has shown towards this launch of this Focus Kerala chapter. And one important thing is that I need to specially mention our national president, Sri V. Suresh, being the catalyst who has inspired us to do our best and stand as a pillar of power. With deep sense of appreciation, sir, we thank you for your
Thank
untiring
you.
efforts.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have also been fortunate, sir, to have eminent persons today from the industry to speak on this occasion. Shri Alex Riak, Shri Gopa Kumar, Shri Lava. And sirs, your remarks have made this program much more brighter as your thoughts echoed the same main theme of this focus chapter. We'll definitely work hard to make this chapter grow to much greater heights. We wish to show our gratitudes to all the persons who have registered for this launch program and to all those new members without whom we would not have been able to get this launch happen on this day. I thank you all for your enthusiastic participation in this program. Once again, a big thanks to Mr. Ravi Shankar ji for having worked hard, tirelessly to set up this whole program and make it function very, very efficiently. And you have done a great job, sir. And many thanks to our regional chair, Dominic sir, without whom we could not have thought about this day. And we said, yes, September 15th is the day, and we made it. You had been the brain and you had pushed me and said, yes, Vinod, we can do it. Thank you, Dominic sir. Thanks a lot for that. My sincere thanks also goes to our Vice President, Dr. Velan, our General Secretary, Sri A.L. Narasimhan, Regional Chair West, Sri Sandeep Shikre, and our own Treasurer, Sri Satish Iyengar, for gracing this occasion and making this a grand success. Sir, Ajit sir, a special thanks and gratitude for being the Kerala chapter chairman, and I'm indeed obliged and happy to work under you, and we should make this one of the best chapters across.
Not working under, working with.
Working with, well corrected, sir, well corrected. And make this chapter one of the best in India. And definitely, as Alex sir mentioned, there should be a stamp on every project from Focus, and we should make it happen. And one more thing, Suresh sir, all the people who work behind this program, especially Mamata and the technical administration team, a big thank you. Thank you everyone once again, because short time, but then so many registrations and wonderfully set up. And I think we got the best speakers as well as chief guests to grace a fantastic program. Thanks to everyone, and have a safe day and safe evening. Thank you, sir.
Before we conclude, I just say we could probably have a very good webinar in the month of November, especially addressing the Kerala, maybe 1.5 hours on a topic. We are having on the anniversary celebration just because now it is an internal meeting, gathering. I just want to say we're going to have on the 26th. We're going to have a full day webinar on complete verticals. Each vertical chair they're going to present. And I'm preparing on that. So followed by that, in the month of November, we could have the first webinar of Kerala chapter. Independently, what you feel? I'm just asking our the chairman of Kerala. What do you think is very important to the Kerala? Whether it is an energy conservation, or a green building, or a sustainable, or holistic approach towards the critical services. We could do one in Kerala. It could be physical also. By then, November, I'm sure the restrictions and will have come down. There's nothing. There's no alternative physical meeting. Virtual is, while we speak, somebody will be working. Suddenly, you switch off the video. So there is a lot of disconnectivity on this. So I definitely like to see virtual meeting happening across the country. And I would look forward for the first virtual and physical meeting in Kerala in November, sir.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Several of our friends friends and dignitaries this evening are from Kerala. While we hope everything is fine, we're not hearing very good news from Kerala. We wish you all safety. We wish you all health, and good evening, and have a wonderful year ahead.
Thank you.